Did you know that Tinder, Hinge, Match.com, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, Black, Chispa, Hawaii, Meetic, Our Time, Pairs, and Ship are all owned by the same company? If you've ever used any of these apps or sites, you've been a customer of the Match Group, or the monopoly that controls the online dating world. Hello everybody, my name is Kobe Hunter, and today we are going to talk about the monopoly of online dating. The Match Group absolutely dominates the online dating space. Today we're going to answer 4 important questions about them. First, where did the Match Group come from? Second, why are they a monopoly? Third, what's wrong with being a monopoly? And fourth, what can be done about Match's monopoly? In order to understand the origin of the Match Group, we need to understand their creator, IAC. IAC, or Interactive Corp, is a holding company based in America. Founded in 1986, IAC has been in and out of many entertainment and tech ventures. If you'd like a more in-depth explanation and analysis of what holding companies are and the pros and cons of them, leave a comment down below, so I know that you'd be interested in watching a video like that. Over the years, IAC has had investments or ownership stakes in Ticketmaster, USA Network, LendingTree, Hotwire.com, Expedia, TripAdvisor, Dictionary.com, Thesaurus.com, and Reference.com, People Media, Tutor.com, AskFM, Turo, Care.com, the Home Shopping Network, and of course, Match Group. IAC currently has hundreds of brands under its current umbrella. On the screen now, you'll see their most prolific brands. IAC holds a controlling stake in all of these companies. If you've used any of these companies, drop a like down below to let me know that you've used them. So, how did IAC create the monstrosity that is the Match Group? Well, IAC bought Match.com in 1999 for $50 million. Match Group continued to grow over the next decade with funding from IAC. In 2009, IAC bought People magazine and the 27 dating sites that People owned. In 2011, they bought OkCupid, the first free dating app focused on advertising to young people. In 2012, IAC created a startup incubator, and Tinder was created by Wolf Herd and Justin Mateen. In 2013, Match bought more of Tinder, and in 2014, Wolf Herd resigned from Tinder after some pretty bad experiences with the Match Group. Things did not end amicably. In 2015, Match Group went public. By 2017, Match Group had finished buying Tinder, and in the same year, Match offered to buy Bumble for $450 million, but Bumble rejected it. Wolf Herd, who had moved on to start Bumble, said she would never sell to Match. In 2018, Match bought a 51% stake in the dating app Hinge. In 2019, they bought the rest of Hinge. Also in 2019, IAC and Match split entirely. Match has continued to buy up various dating apps and now has quite an impressive stable of apps. These include Match, the company's original app, which is available in 25 countries, Tinder, which lets users swipe through potential matches and is oftentimes focused at hookups, Hinge, an app focused on finding relationships, Plenty of Fish, one of the largest dating apps in Match's portfolio and is available in 20 countries, OkCupid, which asks users multiple choice questions to determine their compatibility, Upward, a Christian dating app for Gen Z and millennials, Our Time, a dating app meant for singles over 50, Meetic, which serves European countries, and Pairs, which serves Asian countries. This leads us into the accusation of them being a monopoly. As you can probably tell by just hearing about all the apps they own the majority of the dating world. Until I researched this piece, I thought Hinge and Tinder were entirely separate. This appearance of competition makes everyone feel like the marketplace is competitive. Before we get into how much of the market Match controls, I want you guys to pause the video and guess down in the comments below what % of the market they control. I'll wait. Okay, now that you've done that, let's break down their market share. In order to get a grasp on the competitive landscape in the dating industry, we will look at market capitalization and paid subscribers. As of recording, Match Group has a market cap of $15.96 billion, Bumble $4.66 billion, and Spark Networks, the owner of eHarmony, $71.7 million. So according to these numbers, Match controls 77% of the online dating space. Now, market cap isn't everything. A high market cap might just mean that people think Match is going to grow a ton in the future. So, to get a better idea of these companies' market shares, let's compare the number of users for each company. Neither Match Group nor Bumble report their total daily active users, but they do release their paid subscriber numbers. So let's talk about those. Match Group has 16 million paid subscribers in 2021, Bumble has 1.5 million paid subscribers in 2021, and Spark had 875,000 paid users. That means that Match Group has an 87% market share, with Bumble coming second behind them at 8.1%, and Spark after them at 4%. Imagine if Wolf Herd didn't have a vendetta against Match Group. Match Group would have 95.1% of the online dating space. To understand how crazy this is, let's compare Match's market share to some other industries. Depending on what source you look at, Amazon's market share in the e-commerce space is between 38 and 57%. If Amazon is getting monopoly accusations with a market share of about 40%, why is Match Group able to get away with 85% market share? You might say, Kobe, it's because they have a bunch of different brands that all compete against each other, right? Well, this isn't actually the case. As seen in the automobile industry, brands will avoid cannibalizing their own sales. The Volkswagen Group is a great example of this. Volkswagen owns the likes of Audi, Bentley, Bugatti, Lamborghini, Porsche, Volkswagen, and Scout. I have personally worked in the automobile industry, and within these companies, they purposefully restrict their sub-brands from competing with each other too much. Whether it be Volkswagen not offering a performance version of the Arteon because it would cannibalize Audi sales, or Audi limiting their R8 to 602 horsepower when Lamborghini has the Huracan on the same platform with 630 horsepower. This is to make sure that Audi doesn't encroach on Lamborghini's status as the sportiest supercar in the lineup. In the auto industry, this is more acceptable because Audi still has to compete with BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Lexus, and Lamborghini has to compete with the likes of Ferrari, McLaren, and Maserati. This encourages innovation on the macro scale. Match Group doesn't have to compete with anyone in the online dating space besides Bumble, so the market becomes less competitive. This leads to the third point, why monopolies are bad. According to Investopedia, which ironically is owned by IAC, monopolies are bad because they control the market in which they do business, meaning that they don't have any competitors. When a company has no competitors or few competitors, consumers have no choice but to buy from the monopoly. This means that a monopoly can charge high prices above fair market rates and produce inferior quality goods, thus increasing their profits, knowing that consumers will still have to buy their products. Monopolies also mean a lack of innovation, because there is no incentive to find new ways to make better products. In the case of the Match Group, the only real option many consumers have that is not owned by the Match Group is Bumble. Match Group is able to target every segment of the dating market and maximize profit because of minimal competition. For example, Tinder and Hinge, two of their most popular apps in the United States, have the exact same pricing for their premium versions. Both are $14.99 a month if you get the 6-month version, or $19.99 a month if you get the 3-month version. For perspective on how expensive Match Group's product offerings are, they are significantly more expensive than streaming services like Netflix at $15 a month, Hulu at $13, Prime Video at $10, and Disney Plus at $8 a month. It's not like Tinder is pouring billions of dollars into new content for you to watch like these streaming services are. They just have to upkeep their servers and pay their employees. If Match Group did not own the majority of the market, I think you would see competition drive these prices down. Let me know in the comments what you think of their pricing, but it seems a little steep to me. You could get pretty much any streaming service you wanted for the price of a Tinder subscription. The sad thing is that the Match Group is extorting young people to pay tons of money each month with the promise of finding a hookup or finding love. Remember, the monthly subscription is just the entry point of paying. On Tinder, for example, if you want to be seen, the most effective way to do that is to boost. These boosts are usually a couple of dollars a pop and quickly add up. These high prices are even more abhorrent when you remember that the majority of their customers are 18 to 30, and the average salary for people in this age range is about $45,000 a year. On top of all of this, dating apps are not very effective. They are often depressing rejection apps for men and places of harassment for women. For a host of reasons, men account for 75% of activity on dating apps. This imbalance of demand reduces the app's effectiveness and reduces the satisfaction of its users. 45% of all users say they feel frustrated while using online dating apps. 25% say that it made them feel insecure, and on top of that just level of sadness, 26% of men and 32% of women said they have feared for their safety at some point. If any other product or service had these kinds of numbers, would we say it was a good product? Of course not. And yes, I know there are success stories, but only about 14% of marriages come from dating apps. So people are paying as much as they do for top streaming services to a near monopoly that does not provide a high quality of service for their very low chance of finding love. Let's go back to the reason why monopolies are bad and point out the monopolistic effects of the Match Group. Monopolies are bad because they control the market in which they do business. Match definitely controls the market in which they do business, meaning that they don't have any competitors. Match's only competitor is Bumble, which owns 8.1% of the market. When a company has no competitors, consumers have no choice but to buy from the monopoly. If you want to use any major dating app, you have to buy from Match. This means that the monopoly can charge high prices above fair market rates and produce inferior quality goods. As we can see, if top streaming services are charging $15 a month, Match should not be charging $15 a month, knowing that consumers will still have to buy their products. Monopolies also mean a lack of innovation because there's no incentive to find new ways to make better products. So what can we do about Match's monopoly? Why hasn't anything been done about this already? Well, according to the NYU Law Review, Match Group has been able to evade antitrust investigation due in large part to lax oversight by the Department of Justice and Federal Trade Commission. On top of this laid-back view of the situation, Yahoo Finance reported that monopolies are just really hard to prove. The FTC might not view Match Group as a major threat. So until a dating app comes along that Match Group uses anti-competitive behavior towards, like underpricing below their marginal cost, the government most likely won't be doing anything about this monopoly. So what can we do? Well, first we can increase awareness. Just by people watching this video and knowing that Hinge and Tinder are owned by the same company helps us understand that it's not a competitive landscape. Second, we can push ourselves out of our comfort zone and go to places where we can meet people instead of swiping. We can go to dance clubs, we can go to sports events, we can go to parties, we can go to other events that we can meet people instead of just sitting in our room and swiping. Third, we can use Bumble instead of Match Group. Obviously, Bumble is unique because women message first, but if you really want to stick it to Match Group, use Bumble, or fourth, use a niche product that isn't owned by them. For LDS people, there's an app called Mutual that people can use instead, and that is independently owned. So today, we've talked about the origin of the Match Group. It's crazy a history of buying up every major dating company besides Bumble. We talked about why they are a monopoly, and depending on how you slice it, they have between a 75% and an 87% market share. We talked about why being a monopoly is bad. Match's monopoly hurts innovation, leads to inflated prices, reduces competitiveness, and creates an inferior product. We talked about what can be done about Match's monopoly. First, we can increase awareness. Second, we can push ourselves outside of our comfort zones. Third, we can use Bumble instead of Match. And fourth, we can use a niche product that isn't owned by Match or Bumble. But the best way to prove a monopoly is to show them making anti-competitive behavior to a competitor. So maybe we should create a dating app that fixes all of Match's problems and creates a better experience for end users. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think should be done about the Match monopoly. And if you'd like more information about the world of business and finance, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.